Namaskaram friends. So in this video I am going to talk about geosynchronous orbit. What are the types of its orbit each? What are the types of different orbit like geostationary orbit? And what is the relation between geostationary orbit, geosynchronous orbit? Why these types of orbit is created? What are its purposes? And also we are going to talk about the synchronization of the rotation of that orbit with the Earth, with the rotation of Earth. So let's talk about geosynchronous satellite. So a geosynchronous satellite is a satellite in the geosynchronous orbit. So basically it is a satellite and that satellite is in geosynchronous orbit. So what is geosynchronous orbit? Geosynchronous orbit is an orbit in sync with the rotation of the Earth. That means in that orbit, if we put any satellite, that satellite complete one rotation in 24 hours or approximately in 24 hours. That means in sync with the Earth, because we know that Earth rotates around or on its axis in 24 hours. So rotation of that satellite, which is put place in geosynchronous orbit, it also take a time of 1 day or approximately 24 hours. So a geosynchronous satellite is a satellite in geosynchronous orbit with an orbital period the same as the Earth's rotation period. We know that Earth's rotation period is 24 hours. So time taken by the geosynchronous satellite in geosynchronous orbit is also 24 hours. It completed one rotation in 24 hours. That means in sync with the Earth. That's why geosynchronous. Geo means Earth, in sync with the Earth. Different orbit. There are basically many orbit: high Earth orbit, low Earth orbit, geosynchronous orbit. But here we are going to talk about geosynchronous and geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit is a type of geosynchronous orbit, but its you can say inclination is zero. That means it rotates around the equator. So geostationary is a type of geosynchronous, but its inclination is 0 degree. That means it rotates above the equator. So geosynchronous orbit, or you can say GEO, takes a satellite around the Earth at a rate of once per day, okay, in sync with the Earth, keeping it roughly in the same area over the ground. Okay, if it's covered that much area on the ground, so that much area covered by that satellite throughout the 24 hours. That means same area over the ground, roughly in the same area over the ground, and at a rate of once per day. Geostationary orbit is a geosynchronous orbit with an inclination of 0, meaning it lies over the equator. This picture you can clearly see. This red one is a geosynchronous orbit and it has some angle. Just a minute. It has some angle with the equator. Okay, that much angle. But geostationary orbit has a 0 angle with respect to equator. So geostationary orbit rotate above the equator, and geosynchronous orbit have some angle with equator. So there is a difference. So all geostationary orbit is a geosynchronous orbit, but all geosynchronous orbit are not geostationary orbit. You can clearly see all geostationary satellites, not orbit. We will talk about satellite because orbit. This is also same for orbit, but basically we are going to talk about satellites. So geostationary satellites or geosynchronous. All geostationary satellites are geosynchronous. Not all geosynchronous satellites are geostationary. It is same for orbit also. All geosynchronous orbit is all geostationary is geosynchronous, but all geosynchronous is not geostationary. So this is a basic difference. Above the equator, zero inclination with the equator is geostationary. Some angle with the equator is geostationary. All geostationary, all geosynchronous. All geostationary is geosynchronous, but all geosynchronous is not geostationary, because geostationary is a type of geosynchronous. Okay. Now we are going to solve one question based on geosynchronous satellite. Consider the following statement. Geosynchronous satellite has an orbital period same as the Earth's rotation period. Yes. Geostationary orbit is a geosynchronous orbit with an inclination of 0, meaning it lies over the equator. Yes. All geosynchronous satellites are geostationary. No. all geostationary is geosynchronous, but all geosynchronous is not geostationary. Okay, that means option 3 is wrong. So option 1 and 2 is correct. So option 1 and 2 is correct. That means option A is correct. Just check we're on the right path or not. So option A is correct. That means we are on the right path. So remember very few points with that slide, like geostationary, geosynchronous. Geosynchronous, that means in sync with the Earth, its rotation is same as the rotation of the Earth. That means 24 hours. Geostationary, inclination 0, have some angle. All geostationary, all geostationary orbit is geosynchronous orbit, but all geosynchronous orbit is not geostationary. That's it. Okay, so I hope you love this video, enjoy this video, and gain some perspective, some knowledge out of geosynchronous satellite. So, namaskaram. Thank you.